Whether you're playing Palworld single player, multiplayer, or on a server, you're going to need to go ahead and set up some bases, and some of the better spots may already be taken. I've spent the last 7.5 hours with the fastest ride pal in the entire game, going around and scouting out these locations so you don't have to do it on your level 15 Nightwing. So in this video, I'm going over great places for you to build a long-term base, as well as more temporary resource outposts for you to get all the resources that you can need in this game. Including places like right here, -18, -464 on the map. This location has no resources whatsoever, but an absolutely breathtaking view of the entire map. You can see the sunrise from the west. I know, it's kind of weird that the sun comes up from the west. And the giant tree straight ahead of you, breathtaking views. Or unique locations like -48, -425, which is a large lavender field that also happens to have some iron nodes, 3 iron nodes next to an enemy encampment and a fast travel point. Or locations like 69 nice -403 right next to the desolate church, which is a very small area with a whole bunch of iron nodes right next to one another. Or this location right here, which is one of my favorite type of bases that you can actually build at -203, -445. Right next to the Aesthetic Falls. This area is mostly flat, circular, and there's going to be at least one sulfur node here. Sulfur isn't a resource that you're going to need a lot of, but you're going to need it throughout the whole game, and just having one nearby that way your pals can always mine it and you can make gunpowder whenever you need is a fantastic thing to have at your base. If you're doing a multi-base setup and you're going to have one dedicated to coal, one dedicated to iron, having one sulfur node at your main base is absolutely fantastic. And what do I mean by places that are good for an outpost versus places that are good for a base? Well, here is going to be one of my outposts that I have. Every time that I need to get quartz notes, I just find my temporary base that I have set up. I choose to dismantle it. I go ahead, build my Palbox, and then all I have to do is send out a whole bunch of Anubis for them to go and mine away. After I have all the resources I need, all I have to do is fast travel away back to my base, and then I just go ahead and dismantle the base later on when I need more resources at a different outpost. For my main playthrough, where I chose to set up my camp is right on the beach, right next to the Pen King statue at 106 -325, which is just overlooking the beach. Nothing really too crazy about it, but it's a completely flat area that my pals aren't going to spawn into the floor or the ceiling or fall off a cliff or anything else like that. Instead, they're just kind of chilling here, always working and always doing a really great job. Whenever you build a base, it's going to be exactly 70 meters across. If you look at the Palbox in the middle and the compass at the top where it says 35, to me currently on the perimeter, that 70 meters is the location that your pals are mostly going to be spawning within. If you're playing multiplayer on a server, if any of that area is underground or there's a rock or different collision levels, they may get lost, they may starve and become depressed, gain ulcers, and a whole bunch of issues like that. So when choosing a main base that your pals are always going to be at, I recommend making sure that you have a full 70-meter diameter circle that you're not going to have any issues with. So to be as speedy as possible, I'm going to go over coordinates and advantages. A nice sister location to that base is going to be here at 89 -353, which is a small triangular base with a single ore node over here. We have this very well-known location at 3 -527, in which there's going to be a bunch of iron nodes all in one place, and right down the hill is going to be a black marketeer. But if you're playing multiplayer, I guarantee this location was already snagged up. The alternative starting areas to the south, the Sea Breeze Archipelago, is generally flat and great to build at, but at this location at -76, -617 is a large circular area that kind of overlooks every direction. I have another similar location for you over here at -131, -712, that it's large, circular, out of the way, one iron ore node close by, and a cliffside overlooking the ocean and a fast travel point. But this absolutely massive flat area of land for you to build at -196, -700, with 2 iron ore nodes for some regular supplemental iron coming in, not bad at all. At -135, -538, right next to Univolt, is a beautiful little hilltop area with 1 iron ore node at the top and 1 at the bottom of the hill. But by far the very best location on this starting island for you to build at would be right here at -181, -536. This area has 3 ore nodes for you to get, as well as a whole bunch of natural rock, and toward the north is going to be one of the trees that bears all of the move fruits. This location in the map at -245, -460 has a whole bunch of iron ore nodes right next to an enemy camp. This location at -207, -392 has 2 ore at the location and a beautiful overlook to the mountain to the north and this large cliff. I really like this one. This location here at the Bamboo Groves at -358, -114 has 2 ore nodes, is at the top of a cliff, overlooks the mountain to the north and the giant tree and the volcano to the south. Kind of a nice little jutted out area. Right here, I have 3 different bases that if you're playing with 2 other people and you want bases close by, may be very handy. -200 by -100, as well as the location of -190 by -131, and the location of -172, -115. These 3 locations are set up in a triangle, which has a sulfur node at each of them. One of them also has a coal node, so these 2 definitely serve as sort of twin opposite peaks, and then you have an additional location to build at down here, nice, big, and flat. Here in the Twilight Dunes, right next to where the Alpha Anubis is at location -158, -85, is going to be 6 coal nodes for you, as well as 1 ore node. Making our way to the next island at location 33 by -50 is going to be a large hilltop area with 1 ore node and 1 sulfur node overlooking the mountains to the northeast, the mountains to the north, and the large tree. This area has a little bit of a valley, but is overall pretty nice to build at. Oh, a lucky spawned. Nice. Nice. Ever so slightly south of the place that I just talked about at the coordinates 10, -80, at the small hilltop we have 1 coal and 1 ore node. However, once we go down the hill to the back, we have 6 additional iron nodes down here. This is a place that I've built a little camp and I built a little ramp so that my guys can go up and down and get all the iron for me. And yeah, I just sort of swapped this place in and out of being in use. What's nice about this location is that it's also right next to a black market here. At location 52 by -150 is a large flat area on the coast that has a respawning chest as well as a sulfur node, and you have a level 29 cave over here, which is pretty nice. Just south of the Cinnamoth Forest at locations -75 by -290 and -75 by -320 are going to be 2 sister locations. One has 11 ore nodes, and just north of that is going to be that second location with 2 ore nodes and 1 sulfur node. Focusing on the other alternative starting islands, the Marsh Island and the Eastern Wild Island, right at the middle of the lower island at 340 by -310 is one of the largest and flattest areas in the entire game. You have these large rings in the distance, an enemy camp nearby, and more ring stuff. Cool. At 330 by -217 is going to be a very large open piece of beach with a little bit of an archipelago to the north. At the Eastern Wild Island at coordinates 450 by -200 is a pretty unique area that there's a little bit of a corner of a castle that used to be here. It's not too intrusive and it's not going to interfere with the building too much, so you might like that. Just a little bit down the road is going to be another absolutely massive flat piece of land that you're going to be able to build at. We even have an iron node over here. At coordinates 460 by -90 is going to be a large, flat, out-of-the-way place for you to build at with 1 ore node. Getting to the large island that has the Free Pal Alliance tower on it. Here I have a bunch of places for you, but mostly a lot of outposts that have a lot of coal and iron resources for you, including right here at coordinates 270 by -226. Here's going to be 8 iron nodes that are out of the way, but on a very narrow cliff, so you may want to use this as an outpost and not keep your pals here. At coordinates 290 by -100 is going to be a large circular flat piece of land that you're going to be able to build at that has 1 sulfur node and then 1 additional sulfur node and an ore node close by. At coordinates 250 by -100 is going to be 9 ore nodes as well as 1 sulfur node. Quite possibly one of the most popular places to have a base at coordinates 188 by -37 is going to be a location that has a whole bunch of ore nodes and coal nodes. So you're eventually going to get to the point that you're going to start covering up some of the coal patches, that way they don't respawn with beds. At coordinates 100 by 23, you're going to be finding some coal on a hillside over here. And ever so slightly north of that is going to be a location with 6 more coal patches and 1 more coal patch off of the hill. But a location that pretty much makes those 2 into a triangle at coordinates 82 by 43. Here we're going to be having one sulfur node and a fairly flat area for you to build at the northernmost tip of this island at coordinates 150 by 150. There's no special resources, but you are right next to a cave, and if you head to the north, this is going to be the location of one of the Black Marketeers. This might be one of the largest, flattest locations that you could build close to one of them. Pretty much one of the only places for you to get quartz before actually making your way to the very cold island up here to the northwest is going to be at location 200 by 100. Here you're going to be able to find 6 quartz nodes as well as 2 ore nodes off to the side, and on the other side of this small hill we even have a little coal over here. At coordinates 280 by 90 is going to be a very flat piece of land for you to build at with a level 30 cave and a sulfur node on a flat circular piece of land overlooking the dunes. Make our way to the northeast island. This is mostly going to be coal resources. First at location 268 by 213, we're going to be having 6 coal nodes. Just northeast of that on top of the mesa at coordinates 293 by 245, you're going to be having 8 coal nodes for you to work with. By coordinates 435 squared, you're going to be finding 6 more coal nodes. Directly north of that at 433 by 525, you're going to be finding 6 more coal nodes. At 321 by 500, you're going to be finding 9 coal nodes as well as some natural rock here. And this is right next to one of the trees that bears the fruits for different moves. At coordinates 620 by 313, you're going to be finding 6 coal nodes as well as 1 ore node. At coordinates 700 by 350, you're going to be finding a large desolate island with absolutely nothing on it. What's unique about this though is that there's no large rocks or anything, so all of this is considered ground. This might be a nice place for you to build a base completely out of the way with no one else nearby. At coordinates 640 by 150, you're going to be having 7 coal nodes as well as 1 ore node. At coordinates 700 by 70, you're going to be finding a large, nice, long peninsula of land. And just very flat, ocean level, out of the way. You might like this to build on to be left alone. At coordinates 500 by 67, just south of the Menacing, you're going to be able to find 6 coal nodes as well. As much as I would like to live on a place of liquid hot magma, unfortunately I only have 3 base locations, but a whole bunch of places for you to go ahead and get resources at various outposts. At negative 415 by negative 600, you're going to be having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You're going to be having 8 iron and 1 sulfur node. At negative 430 by negative 530, you're going to be finding the entrance to the Blazma hut. Inside of there, you're going to be finding 4 sulfur nodes, as well as 3 of them directly outside. At negative 490 by negative 513, you're going to be finding 6 sulfur nodes. At negative 600 by negative 500, you're going to be finding 9 sulfur nodes right next to a fast travel point, so that's probably all the sulfur you'll ever need. I just found another one in the middle of recording. At negative 630 by negative 500, we have 7 ore nodes. At negative 588 by negative 400, you're going to be finding 8 sulfur nodes and 1 ore node. At negative 570 by negative 350, you're going to be finding 8 ore nodes. One of the largest and flattest areas on the entire volcanic island at negative 450 by negative 300, you're going to be having 2 sulfur nodes and a whole bunch of green grass. This large flat area would be probably a great place for you to go ahead and make a base. At coordinates negative 673 by negative 290, you're going to be finding 10 ore nodes. One's kind of off to the side, but the other 9 are over there. Making your way over toward the lava pools at negative 730 by negative 330, you're going to be finding a whole bunch of rocks that look like sulfur but aren't sulfur, but at this location, there's actually going to be a whole bunch of sulfur. At coordinates minus 750 by minus 440, you're going to be finding 7 sulfur nodes. All right, this is a pretty cool one, and it might be a horrible place to actually build at because of how narrow this little island is, but there's going to be 5 coal nodes and 1 ore node at this location right here, minus 700 by minus 630, surrounded by this adorable little lake in the middle of a volcano. Kind of like this spot. At minus 600 by minus 720 is going to be a very large, flat, and on top of a hill area for you to build, with 6 coal nodes, 2 natural rock, and a little bit of trees nearby, so you can actually go ahead and get a base all set up from here. This is a fantastic place for a quick grab of coal at minus 500 by minus 720 right next to the Fisherman's Point. You're going to have 6 coal nodes right here. And at minus 460 by minus 670, just a little bit away from Fisherman's Point, you're going to be having 6 coal nodes and 1 ore node. Onto the highest level northwest cold biome. Throughout your whole time playing, you see a whole bunch of like weird futuristic looking things without any explanation. And here's a fun looking altar thing. But anyways, what kind of looks like a fun little downtown area. If you were to build a base here, as long as you're using smaller bipedal pals, they might be able to like actually walk around and thrive here. But just north of that is going to be a pretty interesting spot on the map at -78 by 193. Here's going to be 4 treasure chests in a large circular area that kind of almost makes it seem like it was made for you to build a base at. Actually, if I put my Palbox like directly in the middle, oh yeah, it's absolutely, heck, it's just outside of this second large light ring. Well, that's neat. Here's a pretty interesting place at -150 by 200, which has 2 natural ore nodes and 1 quartz node, but what's interesting is the place is half green and half white. At coordinates -230 by 200 and at -267 by 200 is going to be a long raised peninsula of land. That seems like a fantastic place for 2 people to play, have bases right next to each other and completely away from everyone else. There's also 2 ore nodes at the east end and 2 ore nodes at the west end and 1 ore node directly in the middle. My preferred quartz area that I showed earlier in the video is at -200 by -254. While there's lots of spread out resources on this island, over here at -370 by 315, you're going to be able to reach 4 iron nodes, 2 to the south, 2 to the north, and there's also another ore and a quartz off to the southeast. At this location at -283 by 406, you're going to be having 3 ore nodes and 1 quartz node, which doesn't sound like a whole lot. However, less than 100 meters away, you're going to be having this area with 8 quartz nodes and 2 ore nodes. So having these 2 locations so close is pretty neat. Also, this area is relatively flat as far as the Arctic area goes, so you could build a base here if you'd like. Plus you have that treasure chest right here. This location at -300 by 540 has 6 quartz nodes and 2 ore nodes and also a little fence, so that's unique. Ignore those guys, they won't be here if you build here, I promise. We have 7 quartz nodes all here at -130 by 570, which is also right next to a fruit tree. And I'd like to end this video off with one of the most peaceful and serene places in the whole game for you to build at. Here, at 150 by 450, is going to be an area big enough for 3, maybe 4 or 5 people that you can build all the way up to the very tip. Claim yourself some move fruit. This place kind of reminds me of like where Odin would go and turn to dust. Anyways, great. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far into the video and haven't subscribed or hit the like button yet, what the hell are you doing? You just heard me rattle off so many locations. Thank you for being here. I'll see you next time. Bye.